We got some follow through here. All right, let's go. Second stream of the day. I guess I can go live right now. I didn't think I was going to be able to. So it's 6 p.m. Central Time, an hour early, but I want to go live now. I might switch it to 6 p.m. Central on Saturdays and maybe even 6 p.m. Central on Mondays. I might start streaming an hour earlier. I haven't decided yet. I kind of like doing 7 p.m. I might do 7 p.m. Central Time on Mondays and 6 p.m. Central Time on Saturdays. We'll see. I think I'm going to start doing that, but I'll let you guys know. Let's look at the markets. Before we really get into it, I didn't do this either because I was in a hurry earlier today. Let's look at the Fear and Greed Index. Let's do that right now. Let me make sure that we are live. Someone I did see before I ended the last stream said OP. They wanted to look at OP, so we'll look at OP. That's on my list of things, of altcoins to look at. But with that being said, let's dive into the charts. Do you guys like it better when the screen is white? Or do you guys, maybe you guys don't care, or do you guys like it better when the color theme is dark? I personally like white better, but maybe it's easier for you guys to see if it's black. But then I feel like I'm not sure, so then I have to change these to white, otherwise you guys can't see them. I don't know, I don't mind switching up every now and then. I just prefer white. Anyways, right now, Bitcoin is struggling. I got in at $47,700. I was really waiting for this bull pennant, bull flag, whatever you want to call it, to play out, and it's just kind of struggling. It is the weekend, lack of liquidity, although you did get a pump earlier today, so it's like, usually weekends you don't get major pumps. If you do, you go back down, but so far, I'm hoping we hold this level, but I am in this trade right now on Bitcoin at $47,700, and now it's in the red, so that's not a good look. But I look at Bookmap, and I'm still holding this trade because this tells you where all the liquidity is at for Bitcoin. Right now, you have some liquidity here, but you have a lot of liquidity up here at $49,000. So that tells me, I don't know when that's going to happen, but usually happens sooner than later. $49,000, you have a ton of liquidity up here at $50,000. So really, even though it's the weekend, I still think we could get a weekend pump. I know I said that I believe Bitcoin is going to go higher next time I go live, and I was right about that because this morning we were down here at 47.2, but now you're really getting a dump, and this sucks. So my stop loss, I believe, is like this dotted red line is at 47,570, or maybe it's 577. So that's where my stop is. I really don't. I hope we don't hit that, but that is what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. I'm really bullish right now, but you could keep going lower, I suppose. It looked like this was going to play out. It still could. It still could be going to the bottom of the pattern and then get the bounce back to the upside. If you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know and I'll look at them after I get done with my Bitcoin analysis. But really, this is what I'm looking at. And right now, it's looking like it doesn't want to play out. But this is a bull pennant. Your measure move was about $48,600. The 50-minute time frame is ready for a bounce. Another reason I entered this trade. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. I still think this could happen, but it's looking less and less likely. The 1 hour chart is overbought. That's not good. The 2 hour chart has gas. The 4 hour chart is just getting started. The 6 hour chart for Bitcoin looks bad. The 8 hour chart doesn't look good for my long, and the 12 doesn't either. The daily doesn't. The 3-day looks pretty good for my long, and the weekly looks beautiful. So, I don't know. It's the weekend. There is probably less liquidity on the weekends, but doesn't mean we can't get a big move. We got a big move earlier today, so maybe I'm chasing at this point. But it looked like it was going to be bullish, and now this trade was at $40. Now it's probably down 20. I should have just cut it, but that's what I'm looking at. If you stay above 570, though, I still think there's a chance this trade plays out. But below 570, that's new low, and then you'd be looking probably for back to 47.2 or 47K where you have support. You have strong support at 47K, so. But usually whatever pumps happen on the weekend, they do go back down. That doesn't mean we can't go to 50K today or tomorrow and then dump Monday, you know? That's what I was hoping would happen, but it might not happen, you know? The other coin I'm in a trade right now on is 1,000 BONK. This doesn't look super good either, but my stop loss is at break even. I can't lose money on this trade, so we'll see what happens with BONK. It could play out. Bitcoin gets the pump. I expect this to get some sort of pump. My measure move is 1.46 cents on BONK coin. So that's what we're looking at. Someone did request OP on the last live stream that I didn't get to. I don't know if they're probably not watching anymore, but I'm going to do a video on OP, and then I will look at whatever requests you guys might have, and if there's none, then there's none. So, testing, making sure that's working. So let's go look at OP. I know this was requested on the live stream and I wasn't able to look at it. I'll use the MEXC chart right now. So let me just start on the weekly time frame and kind of go from there. Let me get rid of that thing on the side. So the weekly time frame for Bitcoin on the stock RSI, you can see it's in a downtrend, but actually even the weekly chart for OP is flagging out. So I've got to make that black so you guys can see it. This is flagging out. The weekly chart is flagging out for OP. So I kind of like where this could possibly go. You could even say your last local low was way down there. OP looks like it could, you know, get a decent bounce to the upside. Right now you're sitting at 336. So the weekly chart is going to give you bigger moves. The measure move on the weekly time frame, this is going to take probably 3 to 6 months to play out, but that's telling you you could do a 3 or 4x on OP coin. The 3-day time frame for OP is looking really good as well. And if I take the 3-day time frame measure move, it should be the same really. The daily chart is overbought, making a lower high, but it's consolidating. So I still like what I'm looking at on OP for the short-term time frames. You can just kind of edit this a little bit so it looks better on the smaller time frames. The daily's overbought. I would look for a correction. You're at right now the top of this bull pennant that's forming on the higher time frames, such as the daily, 3-day, and weekly, but you're at the top of the channel. So I would expect to move back to the downside, chop around a few more times, and then get an explosion to the upside, hopefully. These do break out 68% of the time to the upside. Doesn't mean this has to do that, but we are in a bull market. I would expect it, especially in the higher time frames, to do to go to the upside. So we'll see what happens. If we look at the 8-hour chart next, that's getting a higher low. That's really bullish. The 12-hour chart is overbought. Be cautious. The 6-hour chart looks good. The 4 hours oversold. So really, the smaller time frames say you could rip here. I'd be cautious on OP, but the higher time frames do look like you could get a massive move to the upside here in the next 3 to 6 months, as high as, you know, $15 or so. I think that's what I said. So that's my update for OP. If you guys have requests for other altcoins, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next update. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Damn it. Bitcoin really is dumping. I'm probably not going to win this trade. That sucks. All right. Thank you for the follow. So yeah, this Bitcoin is not playing nice today. I mean, I guess if you were in this morning, it did play nice and you could have taken your profits. But it's not getting the follow through. It's the weekend, and this trade could still play out just like that. Look at that wick. That's crazy, but it could, you know, I want to see you you gotta get back into this pattern. If you don't get back into this pattern, it's over. It could still play out. My stop is 570. So until it hits my stop, this trade's always possible. There's been times I've exited the trade prematurely because it looks like it's gonna hit my stop and I don't want to lose everything. And then it goes back up, you know. And there's other times when you think, hey, it's gonna do that, and then it keeps going lower, but take it with a grain of salt. Let's go look at AMP. So AMP right now on the weekly time frame is, let me get back so you guys can see, hold on. Get that back so you guys can see what coin I'm doing. AMP, by the way, we're live on YouTube. Go make sure you hit the subscribe there. That way you can see the entire screen and you don't have to just look at half the screen on TikTok. This is AMP right now on the weekly time frame. This looks good for another move to the upside. You always do where the pattern started, so I do it from the last local high to the last local low. And your measure move for out of this bull pennant, they break up 68% of the time. Measure move is roughly 1.19 cents or just shy of 1.2 cents on AMP. Right now it's at 3.7 tenths of a penny. Not even. That's at like 3.7% of a penny, not 37%. So that's, you know, that would be a nice move up. Let's see what percent that would actually be. Right now we're at 374A, so let me just find that really quick here. Basically right there. Yeah, you're looking on the weekly time frame for AMP, you're saying you could pump 224% in the next, you know, I would usually say 3 to 6 months. It could maybe be more like 1 to 3 depending on how crazy the market gets. But the weekly time frame, it was oversold from September all the way, and then it got overbought in December, so that's October. No, that's 3 months. So I guess that's maybe, you know, 2 to 4 months is more realistic. But it's saying in the next two to 4 months or so, AMP could do a triple. Now, if we look at the 3-day time frame confirms this. It's oversold, ready for a massive bounce. And now Bitcoin still looks bad again, back to 636. Daily's overbought at the top of the channel, so I would personally kind of wait for you could break out here, but if you don't break out, you're gonna get rejected. Go back to 337, and then I would expect one more correction and then a bounce. I don't think you have much more room to get more than one more correction before you get a move to the upside on AMP. You have massive support here at the bottom of this channel as well at 3017. If you zoom out even more, if you do get a dump, you have a local low there at 14. Let me go back out to the weekly time frame. You also have resistance to the upside right there at 6267. That is what I'm looking at for AMP coin. If you look at the 4-hour time frame, the smaller time frames, if you guys are trading not just like the weekly time frame, because I know most people probably aren't, but that's to give you the bigger picture. The 4-hour time frame is overbought, ready for a move to the downside, and the 1-hour chart also is saying we're at the top of the channel. We want to come back to the bottom of the channel, and that's what that's saying. Bitcoin is struggling in the $600 to $700 zone. We'll see what happens. I'm watching it carefully. So that's what I'm looking at. AMP looks like short term it's topping out, but longer term it looks like in the next 2 to 4 months it's going to probably do a triple. Not financial advice, but that's what I see in the charts on AMP coin. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. So someone that wants to go look at Clover. Clover finance. The weekly time frame for Clover. Let's go look at it. It's oversold on the weekly almost. That's a falling wedge on the weekly time frame. You have a local low down there. You have like a double bottom at 286. I don't think you go bet that low unless you get a black swan of it. You have a resistance up there. You could even say it's right there that you touched. And you also have another resistance a little bit higher at 13.4 cents. And we'll see what happens. This is a falling wedge on the weekly. Let me go to a smaller time frame so you guys can see that better. Hold on. This is a falling wedge. They break out 68% of the time. It almost looks like it already did break out. It probably did. 3 days also getting the curve up. That's a higher low. I like to see that. You're trying to get it back above the 21-day moving average on the 3-day. That's a decent sign. On the daily, you're already above it, and you're above the 200-day moving average. So to me, it's already broken out. It looks like that looks pretty good. It doesn't, whether you draw that as a symmetrical triangle or a falling wedge, either way, it's looking really good to me. It looks like you have definitely found a bottom at 431. Now it's a matter of when you start really going up, and you could already be going up now. I bet if I look at the 4-hour time frame that you're already flagging out and making another flag. The 4-hour time frame is oversold, and it kind of looks like that's another flag. If I go to the 1-hour chart, I bet that is another flag, and you could draw this like this. It's not the best flag, but it is a flag, and that's a falling wedge there on the 1-hour chart for Clover coin, and you take your last local high to the last local low, which we'll call it there. That's not much of a low, but if we're just going to be conservative about this, it's saying that you could get back to the last local highs, and that was a conservative measure move. So right now, 1-hour chart is overbought, though that's not a good sign. But the 2-hour chart, the 4-hour chart, and 6-hour chart, and all those time frames are probably oversold. So I like what I'm seeing on Clover, although short term, 1-hour chart needs to come back down. So I'd be careful here, but long term, like on the weekly, it's saying that you could totally rip here, and probably let's get a measured move from the last local high to the last local low on the weekly. It's saying that Clover, at least on the weekly time frame, this is probably going to take 2 to 4 months to play out, but Clover could get back to that resistance at 13.4 cents that I called earlier when I started looking at this coin. So we'll see what happens, but that's Clover in a nutshell. It looks pretty good to me on the weekly. ONYX coin in Cellular Network, ONYX. So this is on Coinbase. Let's look at the weekly. This weekly chart looks like it got absolutely destroyed, but that is a falling wedge on the weekly time frame. But most coins are down here on the stock RSI and oversold. This one's like still near overbought territory. I would be cautious here on this one, but doesn't change anything. The 3-day chart's also going sky high on the RSI. And I think the 3 days is also going to put a lower high end based on the weekly. So this is probably one of the more bearish coins that I've looked at tonight. I would probably not be touching this unless you're doing a short-term day trade, but longer term, the trend looks bearish. But that's still a falling wedge nonetheless. I just don't like how fast the 3 days is about to get overbought. But that would be a higher high. So the falling wedge says you have a move of 563. But because the stock hours high is so overbought, this is probably not a risk I would take. And also the daily's already cooked. So personally, this is one I would not be touching. But it could rip. You know, that's a bullish engulfing candle in the 4-hour time frame. Anything's possible. It's crypto. So I also like on the smaller time frames that you're above the 200-day moving average. But overall, it's a high-risk trade unless you're just doing day trades. If you're day trading, then fine. And I guess, just look at this. If you just look at that, that's another bull flag on the 15th. So I got to be honest, the smaller time frames look like they want to rip. The higher time frames, such as the weekly, don't look super good. But the 15-minute time frame is saying that you could go as high on whatever coin this is, on XCN, as high as 2.6. So actually, I've looked at this a lot of times before. So XCN short-term looks good, long-term looks bearish to me. So you could probably get one more move up. So that's what I'm looking at on XCN. I would say XCN is probably one I would stay away from. I kind of agree with y'all. It looks like a scam to me, but it's surviving a little bit. Short-term, it's surviving. Long-term, it looks... I mean, the trend is massively bearish. The 3 days making a lower high, probably, or it's getting... The daily's already made a lower high. And the 4-hour time frame... I mean, it's still overbought, basically. It's, you know, it's at 70 on the stock hour side. It's almost overbought. So, I mean, to me, it's not worth... There's just so many better... I've already gone over better trade setups earlier this live stream before this one. So, XTN is not one I'd long. It's not one I'd short either because the smaller time frames still look good. If they looked bearish, then sure, short it. I'm not going to enter a short on it, but I don't think it looks very bullish. So, if you guys have any other requests for coins, let me know in the comment section below. We also are live on YouTube. It's like, I don't know, no one watches us on YouTube anymore. I don't know what's up with that. Let me just download this really quick. I was going to post this video. And, yeah. They were scamming before the name change. I'm pushing for a bull run 1 year. At least look at the market cap. So, you talk about XCN. Yeah, I would not touch XCN, just saying. So, this trade does not look like it wants to play out in my favor. It's like invalidated this uptrend. Really, I should have just had my stop at break even, because at break even, anything below 477 you could say is bearish, because, you know, you had a slight uptrend, but it doesn't look very good to me right now. So, we'll see what happens. If you guys have anything else, let me know. Otherwise, with that, that's kind of all I got. I'll be back live Monday at 7 p.m. Central Time. I'm probably not going to win this trade. Yeah, this sucks. Bitcoin at this point is probably going back to 47K, but we'll see what happens. My stop is 570. I literally, just for the bull market, I'm just investing in Atom because I can make 23% APY staking it. Also, the chart looks good, and to be honest with you, I think the chart is going to do like a 10x this bull run. And that's nothing crazy. There's a lot of other coins that are going to do more than 10x, but you get 10x plus you get 23% APY. That seems like a safe to me, but also I can make some good money on that. So we'll see what happens, but Atom's the one I'm investing in, and that's just what I'm doing. I'm going to get stopped out of bonk as well. In fact, I probably just did. Yeah, so I just got stopped out of bonk as well. So it's not been... When Bitcoin falls, everything falls, and it's not been a fun last few hours of trading. But anyways, that's all I got, guys. I'll be back live Monday, 7 p.m. Central Time. Until then, trade safe, have a great weekend, and I still like where the liquidity is at on Bitcoin, so I'm still bullish on it for this weekend. I still think we're going to get another pump this weekend, but I don't know when, so you know, we'll see. It could be now. Maybe that was your low right there. It's possible. My stop is still 570. I think if below 47.6 or 570, I think then the trade's invalidated for a move to the upside. But right now, the bookman is telling me there's more liquidity to the upside, and the last 2 or 3 days have been ultra bullish for Bitcoin, so I don't see why we can't continue. Again, I'd rather get moved during the weekday, because that's usually when you don't get... Usually if you pump during the weekday, you'd get a dump Sunday or Monday. But that's not always the case, and yeah, that's all I got, go. I'm bullish. We'll see what happens. I'm bullish unless you lose 570, and I guess that's I'll just keep it that simple. So, I stake Atom. Right now I'm doing it on Coinbase. They only pay 9%, but But I would do it on your ledger. That's where they pay 23%. So when I get a decent amount of money, I would put it on my ledger. Like anything over 1,000, I put on my ledger. Right now, I just don't have much of it. I'm trying to accumulate it, and I'm not really going crazy on Atom until it breaks, until the weekly chart gets completely oversold, which is probably going to happen this upcoming week. Look how close it is. And then you could even wait for the bounce on the stock RSI. But that's where I stand with it. Like, this is what I mean. Wait for the bounce on the stock RSI. When it starts to curl up there, that's when you could enter and go full Kelly on Atom. When that happens, I'll put way more money into it. But for right now, I'm just sticking on Coinbase until I get a little more money in the coin. So that's all I got. I'll see you guys on Monday for our next live stream. And thank you guys for the likes. I appreciate it. Let me just make sure no one has any requests over here. They don't. Not even anyone watch. Oh, it says someone watched 20 minutes. I don't know, but it says no viewers. So maybe YouTube's just messed